We are here in the Bahamas.
We are going to make it right.
If you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know?
Great job, brother. Just fun to meet you.
What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out.
Oh, I can.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto, home of the BitSquad. That is you. You're watching at home and you're hitting that like button, and we appreciate it. How are we all doing today? It's a wonderful day. A lot going on in the news. We're going to cover some huge stuff. The New York Stock Exchange outage. We're talking about BlockFi. We're talking about BNB, some ETH stuff, some ADA stuff, of course, some XRP stuff, maybe a little Q&A. DZ late. Yeah, it is my fault. It is my fault. I will take all the blame here. You know, accountability. Accountability is the word of 2023. We didn't see enough of that in the crypto markets. We weren't accountable with our funds. We didn't hold the exchange accountable. We didn't hold the founders accountable. And you know what? We were lazy. But 23 is going to be our year. I feel it. If you feel it right now, don't you? You feel this electricity tingling on your fingertips? That's you about to hit that like button. Oh my God, I just felt that power. Thank you. How are we all doing? What am I drinking? Today's episode is brought to you by, we haven't had these before that often. Good and Gather, watermelon, lime, water. Don't be afraid of bubbles, people. Have some bubbles in your water.
Good and Gather. That sounds like a Target special or something like that.
Probably.
It's like a great value brand, right there.
Brought to you by Costco. Or something.
Yeah, we're in the bear market, guys. We're trying to use all our money for crypto.
We can't afford LaCroix all the time.
Right.
I've been eating ramen.
Well,
actually, shout out to Kat. She made the best meal ever. Kat did a seafood boil. Ooh. It was a little spicy, but I'm talking potatoes, corn, sausage, shrimp. Eggs. It is so delicious, but I was sweating. It's definitely, I'm going to be in pain later. So if you see me clutching my stomach during the stream, it's because of that. But Kat, the most delicious thing ever. You know it's good when you fight through the pain. I'm like sweating. I'm like, nah, another bite. I'm like, my lips are burning. Nah, nope, another bite. So
got to wash it down with some ice cream. You know how that goes.
Shout out Kat. Hope you're watching. She doesn't watch this. She doesn't watch this. I can say a bunch of negative stuff. I would never do that, but All right, her friends, she's going to have some friends who watch it. You know what he said at 3 minutes and 17 seconds? He said, your little toe looks funny. All right,
now we know. Oh, wow. The truth is out.
Beautiful, babe. They're beautiful. I love your toes. We love our toes.
Oh, he's a toe guy.
I'm not a toe guy. I'm just digging myself.
Yeah, you can't walk it back now.
There's no walking back.
Let's get to crypto.
All right, let's get to, make sure you're sub to around the blockchain. I said let's get to 14,000. We need some subs, y'all. This could be 13,049. Maybe we just need 151. So let's get some numbers up. I know we can get there. Really good, spicy stream yesterday. Seth brought the business for us. Sin City Crypto. Rob even made an appearance there. All right, I don't know what I just clicked. Let me just hit X on this before. Oh my God, thank God it's YouTube ads, but even that looked a little racy. DZ, make sure you follow me on Twitter, putting out a lot of good stuff. Just retweeted. So if you do want to watch the latest episode, check my Twitter. I saved you a link right there. You can follow me on Instagram as well. I need to start posting some more. So you know what? I will start posting some more. Hey, here's a little AI art. I wish I looked that cool in real life. I did do a TikTok, so maybe I'll post the TikTok today. It's just going over Dookie Dash. So
oh, nice.
I'll show you my Dookie Dash on my Instagram. Catching up to crypto, we just had our Vegas meetup, and the next meetup is what? Let's really push this. Let's get some bodies in there.
Pretty sure it's Phoenix, I think is where we're heading right now. If you go to the BitBoy...
Johnny Stomping Ground?
Yes, Johnny's Stomping Ground. If you go to BitBoy Crypto website and go to book, all the dates are right there on the website. But
We've never done a meetup in Arizona, correct?
I believe that is correct.
All right. So, hey, Arizona peeps, let's get there. Okay, DCA. Yeah, there's a reason that's hidden. So make sure you show up in Phoenix. If you're nearby, drive, bring a family member, and get to meet Ben, ask him some questions. Get to meet AJ if you got some Algorand questions. Jennifer's there. And also, who do we got? We got Aaron.
Aaron.
So shout out to Aaron. Aaron's a trooper. Aaron never complains about traveling all the time, does he?
No, he's a hard worker. We love Aaron.
He's definitely a hard worker. He's the one going on the hunt. So if you see any footage and Ben's like far from Atlanta, Georgia, it's probably Aaron on the other side of the camera. So I want to give a shout out to Aaron, a former desk mate of mine. So we go way back. Go to Hit Merch if you want to get some awesome merch. Hitmerch.com. Actually just had an awesome meeting with Hudson yesterday. So I asked, what was the last hot drop that we had? It was the Ho Ho Hodl. I said, well, you know, I wore it on streams. I pushed it on stream. How to do? Well, they actually sold a decent amount. So we're going to hit the drawing board. We're going to come out with another really, really cool item. And we'll make sure we let you know about that. You can get that cool merch because Ho Ho Hodl was pretty cool. Pluto Alliance, I do just want to share, hey, we got the cruise coming up. Make sure you learn about that. You can go to PlutoAlliance.com. Cruise is going to be phenomenal. I can't wait. Hey, get your base tan ready, okay? We're gonna have a good time. And JPEG junkies, you know, we're still having a good time. Just want to share, hey, we're still at a 200 floor. So if you minted in the 60s, you're looking pretty good. All right, crypto coin market cap. How are we in the markets today? We're slightly green. I was talking to Frankie Candles. He's gonna be on in a little bit. Don't you worry. And he's like, man, it's a little bit boring. And I was telling him, yeah, yesterday I saw a Bitcoin at 0.08, but then later I saw it at literal 0.00. You see that every now and then. And now I just want to share Ethereum 0.04. So yeah, largely flat. If we look at the market cap, we're still above $1 trillion, 1.05 trillion there. 24-hour volume down slightly. I think it was 60 yesterday. We're down to 53. Bitcoin dominance, ETH dominance, largely the same. It looks like Bitcoin kind of going towards TJ's prediction here. He said, yeah, hey, we might be heading towards 50. We went up from 42.0 to 42.1, stealing essentially. It looks like we stole it from ETH because ETH was 19.0 yesterday. Gas is at 35 Gwei. Bitcoin below 23,000, 22.9, but still looking good. Ethereum 1,600. If we do dip down, I'm looking to buy a little bit more. BNB $315. XRP 42 cents. I remember when it just used to hang around that 42 cent level. Maybe it's going to be repeating that pattern. Cardano, one of the few ones that's down, even though it is just slightly, 37 cents. Doge 8 cents. Solana right under $25. That's wrapping up the top 10. Let's look at some of the top gainers and losers, though. I know you guys like to see the hot coins and the cold coins here. I have literally, I'll admit it here, never heard of Threshold T. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Yeah, so it doubled in price essentially.
Market cap of only 400 million.
Yeah, 400 million. It was 200 million yesterday. Actually, yeah, probably right around 200 million yesterday. It looks like it was around 2.5 cents. So hey, if you're holding that random coin, good job. You did pretty good. Quant is one of the coins I am buying on Coinbase, just kind of using that. Loop Ring, there's a couple people in the office. I think Drew really likes LRC. I remember looking at that. One of the earlier coins on Coinbase, I think it's been there for more than 2 years at this point. Kava up over 10%. Rocket Pool, another one I have not heard of, but looking good there. RPL, BitDAO, PancakeSwap, Thorchain, Kronos, in the mix here. Now let's look at the scary part. If you're watching at home, I hope your coin isn't here. I hope it's not here, but it might be. So you better pay attention here. What do we have on the top losers? Nothing that bad. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Axie Infinity, down 3.5%, but we had touched on this yesterday. It had a tremendous week, a little bit of a healthy pullback. Nothing to worry about here. Market cap still in a reasonable range for what they're trying to accomplish. Roughly $2 billion here. Curve DAO token down slightly, and then the rest are just largely flat, down 1 or 2%. So nothing too major. A lot of these just kind of cooling off from tremendous weeks here. You see 21%. You see near 15%. Curve DAO roughly 14%. So a lot of movement here, but there is some movement to be made and some trades to be made. I know we have Frankie Candles. He's about to come in. He's going to say bing bong. He's going to say something about his calves, but you know what? I want to know about your trades, Frankie. You're more than calves to me. I just wanted to say that.
That means a lot, DZ. That really means a lot. What is going on, guys? I hope you're having a good day. Don't forget, this section of the stream is brought to you by BitGet, which I talked about this last night on my stream. We were talking to BitGet, trying to get a special deal for the BitSquad and the Candle Mafia, and we did it. We did get a deal with BitGet, guys.
Oh, wait, I didn't. You were muted. I'm sorry, DZ, so that joke was lost on everyone.
Oh, no. Hang on, do it again.
My bad.
Wait. Did you get a deal for the BitSquad? Did you?
We did get a deal for the BitSquad from BitGet. But guys, if you sign up for BitGet and deposit $100, you get a $10 trading bonus. If you deposit $200, you get a $20 trading bonus. And I believe if you deposit $1,000, you can get up to $100 in trading bonuses. So go check that out. That is just for the Candle Mafia and the BitSquad. This is not just some run-of-the-mill deal. We worked this out for you guys specifically. So definitely go check that out.
You know what I hear when I hear that? That means your first trade, you could put a 10% stop loss. Now there's going to be a little fee or whatever, but essentially a free trade. You put it at 9% stop loss, the fee should be the 1%. You get a free trade, people. You get a free trade.
There you go. Set that stop loss. And yeah, I mean, anything really helps, especially when you're trading. And I know a lot of people are just starting out, as complete beginners. So I know that can definitely help them out. But
thank you, Jen.
We do have a shout out to Jen Murphy. We do have a never view DC's show. We do have some good stuff to look at on the charts, kind of not really that much, but some things have changed, so we're going to be taking a look at it. So let's go ahead. Let me just do a quick little refresh here, make sure the levels are all up to date.
Yeah, one thing I noticed is it just seems to be holding strong. Whether it hasn't really moved much, but it seems pretty solid where it's at, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could take a look here. Now, obviously, still just kind of consolidating here around the $22,900 level currently. Let me turn off some of these indicators, clean it up just a little bit. But yeah, just kind of still, somewhat kind of bullish consolidation here, in my opinion, guys. We did have some form of a bull flag forming, and then we did get a little breakout. Now we're coming back down, kind of starting to look a little bit pennanty, if you will. So it does look like we could get a breakout. And the reason we were talking about this yesterday, the reason why this would be an interesting spot to break out from is because if you pull up, where is, let's see. Oh, we're on the wrong chart here. Let me pull up this chart. But as whether we're looking at the bull flag breakout or the bull pennant breakout, the interesting thing here is that if you zoom out just a little bit here, the technical target does bring us right up to that area right here. The next spider line coming in at about 24,700. Between there and the top of this golden pocket at about 25,300 is the technical breakout target for the bullish pennant and the bullish flag. So it would make a lot of sense to get a little bit of a breakout here up into this blue box. Again, the actual technical target does really bring you to the top of the golden pocket, again, at about $25,300. So that is something I am watching very, very closely. But other than that, guys, not too much price action has happened. We've kind of just been going sideways, obviously. But when this happens, I like to bring up the fact that, Bitcoin gets these big moves, right? And then you just kind of range sideways. But the good thing about that, guys, is you can go ahead and break the price down. Now, this is if you're out there trading, you could break the price action into these ranges and just trade these like they're sideways ranges. You can see here, these levels are a little, have moved slightly, but you have your value area high up here, your value area low down here. And typically, when price is going sideways like this and you're waiting for that next move, basically what I do, guys, and kind of like how we tackle this stuff on my channel in the Discord is essentially you're trading the ranges, right? And if you're longing the lows of the range, because obviously you don't want to be shorting at support and you don't want to be longing at resistance. So basically you just find, when you can find these sideways ranges, obviously you have your value area low here, value area high here, and then you get a little bit of a deviation down here to make this low at about 23,300. And then you did also deviate. I actually don't have a level up here, but you deviate out of the value area to come make this high up here at about 23,350, right? So typically, you guys know the volume profiles. When you come up to that value area high, if you cannot hold that as support, it is likely that you will get sucked in back towards that POC. You guys will be very familiar with this if you watch the stream. And then you can see here, we deviated out of that value area, which is where we would be looking for shorts. You actually did get some bearish confirmations. I'm not going to get too deep into what confirmations those were. But you come up, you get your bearish confirmations, you could put in a little scalp short position and get this little ride down to that POC. Now, obviously, this is the 15-minute chart. It's not the biggest move. This is for the scalpers, for the day traders. And then you can hopefully, your hope here would be to come down to the POC, which you did, and then hopefully eventually make your way down to that value area low. And when you get to that value area low, you'd be looking for the same thing, but inverted, looking for long positions. Now, the reason why this is so powerful is because we know at some point, this range, right? And, a lot of people out there might be like, well, Frankie Candles, like this thing isn't going to range forever. What happens when it stops ranging and it goes up to higher or lower prices? And that's kind of the point, right? We are shorting the resistance and longing the support, right? So if you get into a long at the bottom of that range and then price winds up getting a big run here, right? Let's say we come down to this value area low, you get into a long, you start coming up towards that POC, you start testing that value area high, and then boom, you get that big breakout to our next level up here. That's where that long trade now turns from just a scalp trade to a home run or a grand slam. You're kind of turning, a double into a grand slam. And eventually that move is going to come, right? So, and the same thing to the downside. If you were looking right now, the most recent trade, when we came up to these value area highs, you get into that short, and right now you'd be sitting at this POC in profit from this short. If you got to move down to that value area low, you may want to lock in some more profits. Start looking for longs, but if you did not get bullish confirmations here for a long, you may start to think, hey, we might be moving down to our next level, and then if you break that level and you get a big move down, that's your grand slam short. And vice versa would be your grand slam long. So you can make money in these sideways ranges, and then when it deviates and breaks away from the range, more often than not, you will have an open position and you'll be able to ride that up into massive, massive profit. So, real quick, I just want to bring this up because price action was kind of boring, but I figure if I can give you guys some value here, I'll just kind of talk about coming back here all the way back to when we were kind of over the holidays. I do believe it was right here. I can still see it. What was this? December 30th. This was right after Christmas. You can see that this is not the actual range we were looking at, but the range that we were looking at over that break was these were our lows here, right? So we did have a key level of support down here, and this is going to make sense to you guys in a second. But we had our lows down here, and as price, you can see we were on the POC of this range. And once we broke down from this level, we were expecting to come down to our value area low. Now, this is where I was letting the Discord know. And I actually think I put this in my free market update that I put in my YouTube channel. So don't sleep on my market updates, guys, or my free live streams, because sometimes I drop some really, really good trade setups in there. Not all the time, but once in a while. We do it all the time in the premium, but we do drop some freebies there. And this was just one of those freebies. It just happened to be the bottom. But we came down to that value area low, and this is where we were looking for bullish confirmations. And you can see here, we did have a 4-hour, or this is a 2-hour. I believe we had it on the 4-hour as well. You have your higher lows on your momentum waves with your lower lows on price at key support. That is a major thing, right? At key support. That's a pretty reliable signal there as you get a bullish divergence at key support. You also had money flow coming up on the lower time frames. You had a bunch of confirmations here where we were looking for longs. Now, I was actually away on vacation for Christmas, so I actually missed my entry here, but the Candle Mafia got notified about this, and really the goal here was just to ride it back up to the POC and then hopefully back up to the value area high, which I think was somewhere around this level. But what happened, right? That trade played out great. We stuck at that POC for a second as expected. Then we came up to that value area high. But what happened after that was price absolutely mooned. So we kind of, as you trade these ranges, you'll find yourself in these positions. And then when price actually runs, if any of the Candle Mafia are still in that trade, you guys are up absolutely massively. So this is just kind of why I trade the markets as ranges when I can, because you're just getting the daily, you're scalping those local levels. And then eventually when you get a break, you're likely going to be in a position and be able to ride it down for some massive profit or up for some massive profit. So just wanted to drop that little gem there for you guys, because price action has been pretty boring. But these are the main levels I'm watching here. If we lose this value area low, 22,300 is that next major level I'm watching. It does look like bullish consolidation, guys, but we do have money flow coming out on a lot of time frames. So it's kind of just a back and forth here, hoping for that second break. And remember that next level up to the top of this golden pocket at about 25,300 is the perfect technical target breakout of this of this bullish pennant actually on TradingView. For those of you who don't know, if you come down to technicals, go over to auto. If you come over to pennant or bullish flag, bearish flag, they have all these different patterns that they will detect automatically. And a new update that they just did on this was, we'll say bullish pennant. Let's see if it identifies that. Boom, there you go. It actually draws out the pennant for you.
Nice.
And it gives you that measured target. The flag, actually, the target does bring you right perfectly there. But obviously, this is all, I don't know if it's actual AI, but this is obviously all automated. So it's not going to be 100% perfect. You want to make sure you're doing your own TA, make sure that agrees with it. But it does with the breakout target.
What is, I mean, is a bullish pennant pretty much the same thing as an ascending triangle, or are they? Or what's the difference?
So I guess the actual technical difference between an ascending triangle and a bullish pennant is on a bull pennant, typically you have a downward, you have price making lower lows, lower highs on the tops. And so price will be making lower highs and higher lows, where an ascending triangle typically has a flat level of resistance across the top.
Got it. Now, that is a bullish pattern, though, correct?
Yes, this is definitely a bullish pattern. And again, very, very interesting here that technical breakout target does bring you right up into our next level. So this range right here is going to be, if we do get that big break to the upside, guys, this is going to be the level that's likely going to give us some really big turbulence. But remember, once we do get up to that level, guys, if we can flip that spider line to support and kind of just, bounce around up there and do what we're doing down here, just bullishly consolidating above those levels, we have that giant volume gap above us, getting us to that 28 to 30K level. We'll have to see if it plays out. Again, money flow is coming out on some time frame, so I am being very careful. But that's basically how I'm playing it, guys. I'm playing those ranges. If we come down, I'll be looking for longs. If we come back up, I'll be looking for shorts. I think that's all I got. Now you guys got the levels to watch, and you kind of have some insight into how I actually trade and look into the markets. Back to DZ.
Where should they go to get more TA?
Yeah, guys, if you want to, we do 2 hours of live TA on my live stream at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single day, right after this guy on ATB. And yeah, we have a free Discord and a premium Discord. Obviously, the free Discord is no barrier to entry. You can get in there. It's great. I put my TA. We have a bunch of really good traders in there. Super, super valuable resource for beginners. And then if you want to take your trading to the next level, get some more spoon-fed setups and get a little bit of a deeper look into my trading plans, you can go ahead and check out that premium. And now that's all I got. Back to DZ. Bang, bong.
And Tony sharing the deal is actually $200 for your $1,000, not $100. So you get 2 free trades.
Yeah,
so pretty good deal. Thank you, Tony. Big shout out to Tony, first person to ever get me to eat Uber Eats.
Really?
Eats, yeah. And I still don't really use it. I'm cheap, man.
I got it bad. I got hooked on it. I don't know when it was. I think Brian Emery here was the first one. He even told me, he said, careful, you're going to get hooked on it, and you don't want to know what I've spent on Uber Eats in the last year. It's
cat cook, so
yeah,
I am lucky that way.
Yeah,
but yeah, it is addicting. I can see the addiction. I live in Dallas. It's like a suburb of Atlanta, so there's just nothing good on mine. But if I live where it's like really good options, it'd be probably a different story. Does it snow? I had frost covering my yard this morning.
Everything was frosted.
Yeah, I had to warm up my car for like a decent amount of time. Too bad I couldn't mine Bitcoin with that energy. All right, Bitcoin jumps to 23K. Looks bullish as miner sales hit a 3-year low. Maybe kind of playing into a 4-year cycle here. We kind of touched on this probably a month or two ago, where we're kind of entering in this 1-year period of just really, really low miner selling pressure. So we'll dip into it. It'll get lower more than likely. And then, after a while, and then after that, that's when the miners will start selling. But what coincides when the miners start selling? There's a reason the miners start selling. And that's typically all of this reduced selling pressure is going to equal to a lot of upside potential with the price. That's kind of how it's played out the last 12 years. Let's see if it continues, though. All right, Bitcoin jumps to 23K. Like I said, the biggest crypto by market cap rose past 23K early Tuesday, amounting to a 30% rally in 2 weeks. On-chain flows tracked by exchange Bitfinex shows the amount of Bitcoin transferred from miner addresses to wallets owned by exchanges has declined to multi-year lows, a 3-year low on this metric here. So really, really good action. You can just see it here. This is, I'm assuming, probably, 2.5 years? Yeah, about 3 years. Just kind of, there's deviations, but you can kind of see a trend here. And then, a nice little blip right there. But you see the trend is just downward selling pressure. This right here, I would say, maybe some of that FTX stuff.
I think that's when a lot of people went into survival mode right there. Like we had Core Scientific going bank. We had a lot of miners capitulating. We had certain big public mining operations starting to go bankrupt, like Core Scientific.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what was happening right there.
Yeah, had to pay creditors.
Yeah,
it was that was creditors. That was big money getting their money back. All right. So it's rallied nearly 40% on the month, despite the FTX contagion fears. It has jumped over 7% just on Friday. This is the highest single day gain since November 10th. And this is even as Genesis's crypto lending business filed for bankruptcy. Of course, the Gemini Earn program was affected with that. The increase in the number of wallets with 1,000 and 10,000 has upticked since the second week of January, the analyst noted, adding that the metric was a sign that smaller investors were likely just joining the Bitcoin rally, while the whales, they're still holding their spot positions here. So the whales know where it is going to be heading in the long term. That's my guess. That's how I'm reading this data, and it's making me a little bit bullish about that November prediction that I made. But again, who knows? There's a macro environment we are not used to that we're going to be heading into that Bitcoin's never really experienced, and things could get bad. But when everybody's saying the economy's going to tank, I mean, it is going to probably be bad, but, we'll see if the big money really starts buying houses en masse and buying stocks en masse, just trying to catch that bottom. And then that would, then create more upward pressure, because we did have 2 quarters of consecutive slowdown. But a lot of people are saying the worst is yet to come. Do you have any predictions on the macro environment? Is the worst yet to come? Is it going to be worse than people feared? Not as bad?
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit on the basement yesterday. So if you guys want to jump in there, I'll drop it in the chat in a minute because I forgot yesterday. But I think when it comes to markets, the worst is in. Like the markets, I think front run reality. But when it comes to consumers, retail consumers, there's a lot more pain to come. So the layoffs are about to start setting in, people losing jobs, unemployment going up, high inflation and grocery prices and core real things that people need.
Commercial real estate rebounding before home real estate.
Yes. Yeah. So we're going to feel it as individuals. People are going to feel it, but most of the actual big money has taken its hit so far, and they're going to be trying to take advantage of the pain that the everyday person is feeling.
Yeah. I'm in pain too, so now it's your turn.
Right. Exactly.
This $25,000 price target would spell misery for the shorters here. Shorters, haven't you learned tight stop losses, folks? The co-founder of Trading Suite, Dissent Trader, 25K is now a critical price level. Others believe that the good times can continue, and we could even hit 30K before checking its relief rally. If you've been in this space for years, 30K is definitely doable. Analysis of accompanying liquidity charts shows that the leveraged short positions will start seeing liquidations once we get past 23,400. So far, that is exactly where the rally has encountered momentum problems. So we're going to see a lot of pressure around that 23.4 level. Rec Capital drew attention to the fact that the summer highs, this is what I said yesterday, also present a resistance zone on longer time frames. This was my point about changing volume profiles. Once we get past the profile of the 25K area, there's going to be people getting in below that 30K area. And I think there's a lot of people. You see this blue line on this chart? You see this? There's not everyone sophisticated traders. There's just going to be a lot of people. They're going to see a line at, hey, we were at 28.5 and 29K in June and July of last year. I'm just going to draw a straight line. That's where I'm going to put in a stop, or that's where I'm going to start selling. That's where, I'm looking to exit my position. And it'll just self-manifest.
Yeah.
And so I expect a lot of pressure at those June, July levels. So if we do pass 25, that's the level I'm looking at. All right.
I don't know if this article hit it or not, but that if we get above 25, we know the 200-day moving average is a critical number.
Yeah.
200-week moving average, we would actually, if we get above 25, we'd be actually above the 200-week moving average, which is another key level to keep an eye on.
Is buying near ATL counts as an achievement? If you get the right place, maybe. There's going to be hot pockets of real estate. There's going to be the cold areas. Obviously, a lot of California city areas are going to be, they're on the decline. I've looked at some of the data with San Francisco commercial real estate.
I think commercials in a lot lot more trouble than residential, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this number. Someone fact check me if I'm wrong, but I think the average price reached 1997 levels.
I did, yeah. I saw something like that. I saw somebody tweeting about it, and Elon responded a week or two ago about, like, you know, somebody said I might have been at like 2000 levels, and then he said give it a little bit longer, it'll hit 1990, something along those lines.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're in the commercial, to TJ's point, the big money, a lot of them have felt a lot of pain, so they're feeling the pain there. Bitcoin weekly options trading volume rises to the highest since the FTX meltdown. The uptick in the options volume is mainly driven by an increased demand for call options, or aka bullish bets. Calls bullish, puts bearish. The total volume of Bitcoin options on Deribit rose to 4.25 billion last week. This is the highest since FTX went bust in the second week of November. The impressive recovery has mainly been driven by an uptick in demand for call options, offering protection against these price rallies. The dollar value locked in the number of open options contracts, also known as open interest, has increased to almost 6 billion. This is the highest since the 27th of October. Bitcoin's price has rallied nearly 40% this month. So I'm not seeing a super bullish narrative here. It's like we've reached the bullish level that we had before the FTX collapse. And I mean, it doesn't take that long of a memory to remember we weren't super bullish then. No. We weren't like, hey, you know, popping champagne and, knocking down confetti. We were still, a little bit hesitant. We could go lower. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, I don't see, and this is something I want to be clear about, because things are more bullish than they have been, but it's definitely, I agree, there's not a bullish narrative. My thing, it's the death of the bearish narrative. So things aren't super bullish right now. They're going to be boring for most of this year, but it's not nearly as bearish as it was. We just had somebody in the chat saying, oh, we're going to retest, the lows in March. And I hear a lot of people saying, like, okay, we're going to go back to that low. But when I ask them what's going to push us there, they don't really have an answer. So I don't see a lot of bearish narratives that are greater than what happened with FTX. But it's also not that bullish, to your point. I think it's going to be boring for a while.
Yeah, and you could try to make it a scenario where, well, let me disagree, because it'll be a slow, steady bleed downward, and that's how we get a 3K. That's not what we've seen. No, we've seen just flat. Yeah, like I don't want to sell my Bitcoin, and I feel like a lot of the paper hands have exited their positions. See a lot of comments about the mustache. I do need to shave a little bit. Someone commented earlier, the mustache crooked. What? Sorry, it's not long enough for me to like comb and. Shout out to Crypto Stash.
Man, they're critical on that. I don't see any problem. It's not that bad. Come on, guys, give them a break.
I mean, look, the camera. If you got the HD at home, you can see some white hairs in there. It makes me look distinguished in person. All right, crypto analysts known, they always bring up the Daily Hodl always brings up Cowan. I wonder if it's Cowan. Known for calling Bitcoin bottoms, issues alert, says crypto forming biggest, probably not Cowan, says crypto is forming the biggest bull trap he has ever seen in his entire existence on the universe. Oh, God, it's Capo.
Oh, come on. Who cares?
Why is it Capo?
Yeah.
All right. So let's give a little color here. What is your thoughts on the Capo situation? A lot of people are roasting him on Twitter, mostly because of the amount of followers that he has. Not so much like there's a lot of people putting out, I don't want to say bad advice, but hey, it's going to go lower than it moons. There's a lot of people. He just maybe has the largest following of those people calling for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot from his account that makes me think he's all that great of a trader, in my opinion. So I don't put a lot of weight on the words that he says. I mean, no shade or anything. There's a lot of really good traders on Twitter that I'd much rather get information from. And he's clinging desperately to this narrative that we're going to go lower because he's basically staked his whole reputation on it.
Yeah. He said, it was at 17K was the last tweet, I'd be exiting 17K. Those right before we had our huge run up.
I know a lot of the traders give him a hard time because he doesn't show live, Crypto Face, the people that show live trades and the people that put their money where their mouth is, it's a lot easier for me to respect, right or wrong.
I'll say this,
takes.
I only respect traders that tweet about their live trades. So or it didn't have to be tweet, but share.
Yeah. So that's just my 2 cents without
anybody,
really
anybody could just open a short and a long every single day. And then every single day they're tweeting about their successful trade yesterday. Yeah. And so, I only respect the people with the open trades there.
He's got a strong following. I'll give him that.
Gareth, Frankie Candles, there's, Jason Casper. They're not scared. They'll show, hey, I'm in this, I open this, and here's where I'm exiting. You know why? Because they are willing to put their reputation on the line because they put out good information. And the people that put out good information, they don't mind a miss every now and then, because overall, you look at the broad portfolio of trades, you're like, yeah, he's wrong every now and then. If he was right 100% of the time, he'd be a trillionaire.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, no one's right every time.
Yeah.
All right. Pseudonymous analyst Capo tells his 700,000 Twitter followers that he thinks that real and organic demand is not responsible for the strength in the crypto markets. Checking charts all the time, avoiding noise, the way the upward movement is happening, the way the time frame resistance are being tested, it clearly looks manipulated. No real demand. Once again, the biggest bull trap I've ever seen, but they won't trap me. When a fellow trader pointed out that stablecoins were being minted as Bitcoin rallied from 18 to suggest real demand, Capo doubled down on the bear stance. The longer the artificial pump, the bigger and more aggressive the drop will be. Well, what do you say when it was 3K at March of 2020?
Yeah,
what were you saying then? And it rode all the way up to 60K. Oh, yeah, it's going to fall harder. Okay, well, we fell to 16. Yeah, Bitcoin goes up, it goes down. That's what's going to happen. Sometimes Bitcoin just pumps like a maniac, and then it doesn't retrace that much.
Right.
This could be one of those times. I'm not saying for sure we're going to 30K. It will only retrace to 28.5. I don't think that's likely. I think we could go to 25K and then never go below 20 again for the rest of my life. I think that is possible.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, it's plausible for sure. Absolutely. And that's the thing. Like when people call this a giant bear trap, so what if it goes to 25, it's an even bigger bear trap? Like we had a 40% pump. I think we're establishing a pretty strong support. Like I said, it looks healthy at these levels. These are key resistance and support levels. If we continue to flip them, it becomes stronger and stronger, that we are, moving up and in that direction. So I would ask these people what invalidates their theory. And if they can't give you a clear answer, and like I appreciated when Gareth came on, he said, look, if it gets above 22, I feel pretty good that could be the bottom. And then we got above 22. Now nothing's 100%. Yep. Bitcoin can do a lot of different things, but if they can't give you the flip side to their narrative, which like I said, we just talked about, like, yeah, it could draw back down. I don't see what's going to pull it back down, but it's possible, but I don't see it going back below 15.5 in my opinion.
But I will agree with Karmic Reaper. People are just eating this trap up right now.
Oh, yeah.
I said it might. I don't think it's going to 25K. I don't think it's going to 30. I think we are going to experience a pullback soon. So let me just be clear with what I actually think. Yeah. I'm just saying, it is definitely possible we never go below 20. I think we may never go below 16 again. Yeah. I'm actually more feeling that way than I'm not feeling that way. 20, I'm not nearly as confident in that.
Yeah, 17. I feel like there's still we could retest that, But again, it's going to take a lot, in my opinion, to get us back down there. And a lot of what I see with a lot of these bear posts right now, it's confirmation bias. A lot of people miss the bottom. A lot of people really want it to go back down to that level, and they're going to look for a way to build a narrative around that. And if you go in with that bias, it's easy to build a narrative in any direction. But if you got to just be honest with yourself and honest with the data. And I think. Again, we're big 4-year cycle people. That's a big part of how we do our analysis. And the 4-year cycle says that was the bottom as well. And now the more we flip these major levels, the more solid and strong my opinion gets on that. So,
Ed, I don't think Russia has enough Bitcoin. I think China can, I think US can, but I think from a national security standpoint, let's assume the sovereign nations, intelligence agencies do hold some Bitcoin just for, rare chance scenarios that might play out in the future. It's just good for nation security. That's my opinion here. I think smart people are aware of that. So I just don't think from any kind of metric they would want to do that. That's kind of my 2 cents. And I'm feeling a little bit better about China buying Bitcoin once I see all these nuclear power plants and kind of the story we were talking about yesterday. All right, New York. Let's talk about the New York Stock Exchange. Let's get into it here. It says trading issue that led to dozens of stocks being halted has been resolved. I mean, we've seen a lot of hacks lately. I'm not saying it's connected, but I am saying this is suspicious here. Trading in dozens of stocks was briefly halted after the market opened on Tuesday due to an apparent technical issue. We're not talking about small stocks here. Morgan Stanley, Verizon, AT&T, Nike, McDonald's here. Many of the companies resumed trading before 9:45. The New York Stock Exchange said at roughly 9:50 that all of them were then operational. Other exchanges like the NASDAQ did not appear to be impacted by the technical issue. Is this dog chewing the wire, or is this a malicious attack? Is this billionaires trying to manipulate some money, similar to how we saw with the whole Robinhood Citadel Bank thing? I don't know, but maybe expect. I don't know. It would be really hard to find the truth on this type of story. It's not blockchain where we can maybe track things a little bit better. It's going to be closed systems. Do you have any thoughts? Do you think this just could be a technical issue?
It could be a technical issue, obviously. I mean, to say it couldn't be would be foolish of me, but, I lean more on the non-trusting side, I guess you could say, maybe conspiratorial a little bit. We know cyber attacks have been a major focus of a lot of the major global meetings that have been happening as of late. We saw what happened with the ATM systems with the airlines not too long ago. This, I think, in my mind, fits right in that same category of, and this could be a narrative that could cause a major flash crash, kind of like we saw in 2019. If we get a major cyber attack and the stock exchanges go down for extended amount of times, that would wreak a lot of havoc on a lot of markets. We could flash lower and pull back up. That's why you can never say 100% never going to see it. Because a lot of people didn't predict what happened March 12th in 2020 with the pandemic stuff. I think there could be something that happens in the next couple of years like that, but obviously that's an extremely
and we have a smart audience, so I don't think there's that many people that have this thought. But for the people that are watching at home saying, "Oh, there's no way that this is a hack," let me just walk you through a scenario, and I want you to be intellectually honest here. If, let's just say, a hypothetical scenario, really think this out. If it was a hack, they cannot say it is a hack. Because like TJ said, it would cause a flash crash. Knowing that a foreign nation can just hack stock exchange, sure, maybe it only hit a handful of stocks. What if it hit every single stock? What if it hit in the middle of the day? That would obviously be detrimental to the U.S. finance system. And so if it was a hack, they must hide that. They must lie about it for an operational security standpoint. They would have to lie about it.
Yeah. Also, very interesting. Very interesting timing with the S&P 500 was at a very key resistance as well. At least it was last night when I was looking at it, of breaking out of its descending triangle, which again could help, Bitcoin markets and things like that. And then I think it was not first thing this morning, but earlier this morning, right as it's right around that level, we have this go down. It's just interesting timing. That's all.
Drew GG, I'm not going to name the name. It was one that I shared on a basement show, and it's just had a really good pump. I would look at the market cap before you. Yeah. Just
be careful.
Write it off.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people in the chat chilling it right now, and they need to take it easy.
Yeah, I regret saying it on the basement like a week ago, but that was that special episode. You guys called for it. It's partly because freaking Martini guy won't shut up about it either. All right, Swiss bank Cité Gestion becomes the first private bank to tokenize its own shares. All right, coming from the Swiss here, the private bank is partnering with digital assets firm Taurus to issue and manage its tokenized shares, and also be in a nice mid-size sedan by the Ford Motor Company. The move will be the first by a private bank to issue shares as ledger-based securities under Swiss law, company said. They will be partnering with digital assets to issue its tokenized shares, as well as manage the smart contract that creates the shares and perform asset servicing of its securities, according to its statement. I would, just armchair quarterback, please, work on this part, managing, the servicing of its security and everything. Just don't let it break. It'll look really bad for us. The announcement followed a similar move from investment giant KKR, which announced plans in September to tokenize its healthcare strategic growth fund on the Avalanche blockchain, AVAX right there. The tokens were created using a CMTAT, an open source smart contract published by the CMTA and specifically dedicated to the tokenization of securities and recorded on Ethereum. I think there's a Davos narrative that I've seen related to cryptocurrency, and it's that Ethereum is kind of taking the narrative that XRP has, where it's going to be kind of the big money contract platform that they're going on to use, knowing that there's other 0x protocols, knowing that there's just the popularity of the Ethereum wallet and the EVM in particular. What did I hear? CBDCs will be ran on the Ethereum blockchain. That was one of the narratives I've heard. I don't know if that's going to be true or not. I wouldn't expect it to be like actually ETH or like actually Polygon, but maybe it'd be a 0x protocol. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's quite the bold prediction there. Thank you, Online Rob. And hey, you know what? We all come around. Heck, when I start watching Ben, I watch him for dark web tips and tricks and how to use Onion. So, I mean, you never know where you're going to go when you're following some of these content
Online
creators.
Rob said, DZ, you're an amazing host, engaging, great comments. At one point he wasn't sure, but now he's come around. So yeah, shout out to DZ. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? It's the team. It's the team of people. We have a wonderful team. We have, Drew always doing a great job. Johnny always doing a great job. They're responsible for, this rundown that we do see here. Obviously, TJ kills it on the boards. We have a wonderful team. We have a wonderful team behind the camera. Shout out to Aaron, BJ, all the technical wizards here. And then it's easy when, I can chill for 5 minutes and Frankie Candles comes on. It allows me to catch my breath, scroll through Twitter, see what everybody hates at the moment. I saw a tweet. I love that there's no current thing right now.
Yeah, I saw that. That's so funny. I was talking to somebody about that last night. I love it too because I hate it when there's always a thing. But you know what that means?
How long? You know what's going to happen? The 30-day thing on the Tate brothers. Yeah, and then that's going to be back in the news and stuff. And,
there's going to be that means we're due for a thing. So yeah,
we're due for a thing. They're trying to. I'm not even going to talk about it. There is a thing, but luckily.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, all right. U.S. banks take aim at digital wallets. Plan to launch Apple Pay competitor. Now, can anybody really be an Apple Pay competitor that's not like one of the huge tech conglomerates here? I tell you what could, a consortium of banks, several banks, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they're looking to reclaim market share from Apple Inc., whose Apple Pay service has proven extremely popular. Remember we reported on this weeks ago. This is a lot of this coming from the Wall Street Journal here, and holding crypto likely to present significant hurdles. While no mention was made of crypto inclusion, banks face several hurdles if they offer digital currencies in their wallets. They must comply with these stringent regulations and tailor risk management practices to protect consumer funds and prevent money laundering. So there's a lot of hurdles that they're going to have to go through. They may also avoid the Silvergate exchange network due to the relationship with FTX. So look, there's some headwinds, but there are smart people working on this project. There are smart people. Let me back that up. There's greedy people who see opportunity, and they're going to make sure that it happens. That's the best bull case scenario I can make for you here.
Yep.
JP Morgan, they look at their stock and they say, nah, it could be a little higher. That's all it takes. And then, you know what? It's going to be big corporations with, ultimately altogether trillions of dollars in assets under management. Hey, it'd be pretty cool if, 250 billion of that is Bitcoin. I think that is going to be the future that we see eventually. Maybe now it's not going to be all Bitcoin. It's going to be a bunch of stupid, boring stuff that pisses us off. We're like, why is it 80% stable coin?
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it's going to be. But you know what? It's still bullish, overall. Now, will banks hold Bitcoin one day, you think?
Yes, absolutely. I saw something they're already starting to say in Europe. They have to hold it at a 1-to-1, I believe. I can't remember.
I remember that. Yeah, there is no fractional. Yeah, they gave the regulations I can't remember the country either. Maybe Luxembourg. But yeah, there is no fractional reserve. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. So it's kind of good too.
Yes, absolutely. So it's going to be a function of which ones and how CBDCs play into it. But yeah, I think banks know that we're moving to a digital world here, and they've got to stay on board. You can tell if you just look at mainstream advertising, almost every new financial institution is some kind of, they call them finance apps. All of these are owned by a lot of the bigger banks. If you think of Ally, you think of a lot of the things that are involved with SoFi, some of those type of things. That's definitely the direction they're heading. They just don't move quickly, and I think it'll be poised for a big run-up in 24 and 25.
Y'all like News and dad jokes? I don't know what News is. Am I just dumb? I don't know, Brian. I don't know what you mean. All right, let's talk about Blockfi here. Blockfi to liquidate millions by selling Bitcoin miner-backed loans. According to Bloomberg, the bankrupt lending firm Blockfi will sell off $160 million in loans backed by approximately 68,000 Bitcoin mining equipment pieces as part of its bankruptcy proceedings. Okay. So basically, a Marathon Digital-like company says, hey, let us borrow some money. What's our collateral? Well, look at all the Bitcoin mining equipment we have. So they're selling those loans here. If the mining equipment used as collateral is worth less than the loan value, then the loans are no longer worth their paper value. Those bidding on the debts are most likely debt collecting agencies looking to buy pennies on the dollar. Selling the debt is all that the current BlockFi administrators can salvage for these assets after exhausting all other possibilities. According to the declaration on the 23rd, they requested funds to give bonuses. They requested funds to give bonuses to the important employees in order to retain them during the bankruptcy proceedings. They told the court that without financial incentives, the companies would struggle to retain employees.
I heard about this.
I mean, that's true, but God, it's so corrupt. I mean, I don't know if like we need a law, like not to go down with the ship, but like maybe you can't just like, if you're part of the reason it's bankrupt, maybe you need to work there and try to, you know, solve the issue. I don't know how we enforce that. You know, I'm typically more anti-government intervention. So I don't know. It's a complicated subject. I don't know how to solve it. I'm sure there's people thinking about it much smarter than me, but how terrible is it? Like, yeah, well, I know our customers like need all this money, but we really got to give our CTO, you know, $100,000 this month, or they're just going to walk away and not help us.
Yeah,
it's not great.
It's sad, and you see it a lot where the litigators and the lawyers and the people settling all of this stuff out. Most of the money that ends up getting recovered does go to them instead of the people that are the bag holders, which is people like you and me. So it's good that this stuff's getting worked through. It's ridiculous that they need to bonus employees. It's crazy to me to find that we're digging into all these companies' books and finding out how many loans on top of value on things that they're estimating and collateral. It's just they built a big Ponzi scheme basically within their own books, some legally, some illegally. When you look at like FTX and Digital Currency Group and some of I think we're going to touch on that later. Some of the stuff that was going on with Grayscale shares it's just ridiculous in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's talk about Genesis here. Genesis creditors file securities lawsuit against Barry Silbert and Digital Currency Group. Let's see here. The lawsuit, a group of creditors filed the securities class action against DCG, alleging violations of the federal securities laws. Lawsuit also alleges Genesis committed securities fraud through a scheme to defraud potential and existing digital asset lenders by making false and misleading statements. According to plaintiffs, they intentionally misrepresented the financial condition of Genesis, violating the SEC Act here.
I agree. I think they should be under this lawsuit because basically what they did, just like Sam was getting loans on collateral for FTT that wasn't really real money, wasn't really liquid, they were basically doing the same thing of selling or basically getting a loan, a collateralized loan against their shares in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust without disclosing anything to the SEC. Obviously, if they were to sell or move any of those, liquidate them, they would have had to disclose that in their position. So everybody thought they owned all of these shares, but they're all locked up in these phony loans. It's shady. It's shady stuff.
Yeah, speaking of shady, we'll probably see some articles. I saw a breaking tweet saying, I think it was like 8 figures worth of money in Sam Bankman-Fried's a bank account connected to him was found.
Yeah.
Mr. I only have $150,000.
I did hear about that, yeah.
All right, Binance, let's talk a little BNB here. Binance mistakenly mixed crypto exchanges customer funds with B token collateral. Said it's transferring the collateral out of the shared wallet. That is chocolate. That's chocolate there. Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange by volume, mistakenly kept collateral for some of the crypto assets it issues in the same wallet as funds belonging to its customers, citing an unidentified Binance spokesperson here. When collateral is pulled together and used for trading, it's locked up, and clients and holders of assets may not be able to withdraw if the pull is reduced. This is from a crypto trading advisor at CEC Capital. It said in a note to CoinDesk. Binance sought to boost confidence in its platform by issuing a proof of reserves report. This is, of course, after the collapse of FTX. The report showed that Binance customer Bitcoin reserves were, in fact, over-collateralized, not under-collateralized. So no fractional reserve banking. In fact, they're saying, hey, for every Bitcoin you hold, we hold 1.1. But, things could change. Although I tend to believe that Binance is, printing money. But then we never know. We never know here. CZ alleges FTX paid $43 million to news organization to publish Binance FUD. That checks out with me. That makes a lot of sense to me. He alleged this during a Twitter space and saying $43 million to an outlet that regularly publishes negative articles on Binance. I don't think it's going to stop, but I don't think it's going to bother us that much going forward. In response to another audience question, he asserted that Binance is using technology in many parts of its business. In regards to AI, for example, roughly 75% of customer support is handled via AI, along with risk management, transaction monitoring, fraud detection, and market manipulation detection there. Yeah, I know their security team is top-notch. It does not surprise me hearing that they use AI pretty heavily in their business operations. It just seems to be a lot of smart people are attracted to that organization. That's kind of just my 2 cents from the outside looking in. I have no insider viewpoint. I have no insider information. I'm just seeing the same stuff that you're seeing at home here.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. It makes me think, obviously, AI, a lot of people talking about open AI right now with a multi-billion dollar valuation, only 300, I think 350, 375 employees, top tranche of talent there. The only thing that concerned me there, hopefully 75% only applies to the customer support, and there's a lot more human involvement, at least in the the risk mitigation.
Yeah, hopefully just like the introductory stuff, like where's my money? Like hopefully just like that part. But as you're like, no, I'm a real person, I have a real issue. Hopefully it gets to some people there. Uniswap holders proposed ditching Ethereum for BNB chain to deploy the V3 protocol. V3 is just to trade and swap a little bit more cheaply here. Wow. So they're voting on it right now. 80% voted to support the deployment. I believe that's going to be enough here. And let's see here. Of course, the BNB chain is a rival of the Ethereum network. It operates under, it is a 0x protocol. According to Cameron O'Donnell, DAO governance strategist at Consensus, the firm views the brand of protocol as standalone and not beholden to any particular chain, despite the centralization concerns. He explains, regardless of personal views, entering the BSC market will provide current and future users with a secure and established medium for decentralized exchange. I just say add it. I just say add it. Why not add it? People want it. Go ahead and add it. People use Pancake Swap. Just go ahead and capture some of that Pancake Swap volume. Because if you don't, they'll just go to Pancake Swap. To me, I'll use either one. It doesn't really matter. When you dive in the trenches like I do, where you get these like really crazy low liquidity, crazy high slippage coins, it's all the Wild West when we're talking about decentralized exchanges. So I'm more. If it is the Wild West, let's treat it like the Wild West. Let's give people options here. That's my 2 cents. So I still hold some Uni, wrote it down. One of my worst losers on Coinbase when you like look at my average price buying in. Really, I should buy more. I should buy more because it's so low and lower my average buy price. But I just see better opportunity out there. So I just have a issue, putting more money into it. All right, let's talk about this ETH Fork. ETH releases Shadow Fork for the much anticipated Shanghai upgrade here. They launched this for the upcoming upgrade. The Shadow Fork is a test model for the actual mainnet that lets developers check if the code for proposed functions well on a real blockchain here. So it's just the test net for the nerds here. Also in the offing is a public test net proposed by the developers to take place before the end of February. The test net is set to bring on board the staking firms to test the Shanghai upgrade. And ahead of the update, the blockchain developers have also noted that additional forks would copy the network's data to the testing environment or the Shadow Fork there. So they're gonna they do this with Ethereum a lot of times. You'll see whenever you see a thing that says test net went down, that's typically, I don't want to say it's a great thing, but it's typically a good thing. It means they're testing it. It means they have a robust testing system. Doesn't mean that something can't break, but it means that people are actively trying to break it, because the people actively trying to break it, they have giant bags of Ethereum. They're definitely incentivized to try to break it. And so hopefully all the issues with the Shanghai fork are worked out in the test net. The last couple forks or last couple upgrades of Ethereum have performed pretty well. So we'll see if it continues. Now we got news on a dormant Ethereum ICO era whale. They moved 32,000 ETH ahead of the Shanghai upgrade. Just enough for 1,000 nodes. That's all here. They've been dormant for 6 years until October of last year, and they recently moved 32K ETH ahead of the network's upgrade, which is set to allow validators to withdraw their staked Ether. Let's see. Look on Chain is the one who found it here. They received 120K ETH at Genesis via 3 addresses here, and then transferred 32 to a new address 5 hours later. Man, $200 million. That's how much 120,000 ETH is. And they got this from the Genesis ICO via 3 different addresses. They remained inactive for years and years when they started moving ETH to stake it here. So obviously a long-term believer in ETH. They're just staking. They're not even trying. It looks like they're not even trying to turn their ETH into money. They're trying to turn their ETH into more ETH.
Yeah.
And so at least that super crazy rich whale is bullish on the ecosystem.
So the Ethereum ICO price, you know what it is?
It was like freaking 10 cents, 25 cents.
31 cents.
31 cents.
So that guy got all that Ethereum at 31 cents.
31 cents.
Pretty wild.
Must be nice. That is pretty nice. That's pretty nice. That's a come up.
Yeah.
That's what we call a come up where I'm come from. You know, that's like think you opened that $3 pack of Pokemon cards and got that foil Charizard.
Mm-hmm.
What that guy did is a come up.
Yeah.
You just got lucky.
He did it.
He did the thing. He did the damn thing there. All right. Ether turns deflationary again, led by a spike in NFT sales. Looks like we had a little brief issue of net negative issuance here. The annualized inflation rate has dropped to negative 0.07%, meaning is the burnt is outpacing the amount that's being minted here. NFT sales volume jumped over 5% to 242 million over the past week, and 80% of that is based on the ETH network. But as the market rebounded, usage of the platform spiked and ETH turned deflationary again. Daily burn levels soared from levels almost exclusively between $1,000 and $2,000 ETH over the past 6 months to a high of over 2,700 ETH on the 18th here. So we're seeing some ETH leave the ecosystem. That is a good thing. Let's do this little Cardano blip. This is Charles Hoskison's rebuttal. We told you it was a big FUD burger, really nothing too much to worry about. It wasn't an outage. It was a slowdown, and it was a slowdown that lasted a few minutes here. With the devastating, look at this, the devastating developments in the market. Oh, they're talking about FTX. Every minor incident seems to raise a higher than level concern. I think that's fair, including the recent issue with the ADA network. And he had to come out and essentially say what had happened here. It seems to be a transient issue and probably a combination of a collection of things that happen at the same times, which means that the reproductibility is unlikely here. I mean, yeah, sure, that's a lot of smart talk for saying, probably won't happen again, might. It's really not a big deal. But, you know, guys, it's a transient issue. I don't mean people with tents on the sidewalk. It's a transient issue, okay? So nothing to worry about here.
Chemistry Bro in the chat said, did you see sewer passes hit almost 3 ETH?
I did. Good job. He bought his at 1.5. That's pretty close to the exact bottom. I think maybe, you saw 1.4 for a quick period, maybe even like, a rando trying to like fire sale 1.29 or something. But really good job with the sewer pass. I haven't really played it too much. I'm working Vumeo stuff. Shout out to Vumeo. We are going to have a Vumeo Spaces. Go to the Vumeo Twitter. Vumeo NFT, or you go to vumeo.io and sign up. Then you'll see our Twitter link on the page. So Vumeo, big thing with Vumeo later. But yeah, it's good. It's bullish. 3 ETH. There's a lot of them out there. We'll see what happens once they transform. It's just the game is. I'm not going to act like the game's super fun. The game is not worth 3 ETH. But what could be worth 3 ETH is if you play the game, you get like top 10% score. You're probably going to be looking pretty good because
one, you don't have, if you already were in the Yuga ecosystem, you got airdropped that pass anyway, right?
Yeah, I got it for free. Right. I don't know this to be true because everything's mysterious. So they have tier 1 to tier 4. Just a Lonely Mutant, you get a tier 4. If you have a Bored Ape plus the dog, you get a tier 1. It's possible for your cheap tier 4 to get a higher score than someone's tier 1. And so you might be able to come in, buy something relatively cheap. I don't think it's cheap anymore. 3 ETH is kind of super expensive, but you might be able to get in at 3 ETH, get that top 10%, and you might have at the end of the day, once that transforms into the energy power source, maybe it's going to be worth more than most Bored Apes energy source. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if a higher score of tier 4 than with the low score of tier 1, which one's going to turn into what, but I assume it's going to be better. That's just my 2 cents. I don't know. Again, no one knows. It's all a mystery. That's just kind of what I'm thinking here. So Taco's been killing it, though.
Yeah.
Taco's crushing it.
I think it's very interesting implementation, and it's not. I don't think it matters as much for the today as it does for the rest of time and the way it gets creators and creative people thinking about how to implement NFT gaming into the future.
Chemistry Bro got 207. That's really good. My high score is like 70. But he said 207 currently, maybe, I don't know if at the current time, but top 5%. So I think if you get in the top 10%, you're going to be looking pretty good with whatever it transforms into or you get airdropped. All right, let's talk a little XRP. Are you watching at home? Do you hold XRP? Do you like XRP? Make sure you hit that like button. You got to smash it. You got to hit it. real quick on XRP. One of Kat's, her cousin, been buying XRP since 20 cents.
Wow.
Years and years. Rich parents, has like over 100,000 of it. Maybe, I think it was like 120,000 of it. I said, heck yeah, man. How much did you sell? Zero.
Done. No. Yeah.
Zero. None.
Very common story.
Yeah, very, very common. So you're not going to get rich buying crypto and holding it like an idiot, to quote our good friend.
Calling her cousin an idiot, huh?
That's what he said.
Shots fired.
It's a quote. It's a quote. I don't say that. I would never say that. But you're not going to get rich buying Bitcoin and holding it like an idiot. It's just good advice. All right, let's talk a little Ripple here, and then maybe we'll do one or two Q&A. So let us know if you have a question. We'll ask. Ripple is hosting a panel on the digital pound. Here is why. It's because when you get on digital scales and like sometimes you step off, you step on, it fluctuates. It's like, I don't think the fart was that wet. What do you mean I'm lighter? Wait, no, never mind. This is something else. One country where Ripple is very active in the UK is the UK. On the 26th, James Wallace, this is the VP of Central Bank Engagement and CBDs at Ripple, will deliver the keynote at a webinar addressing the potential use cases and benefits of a digital pound. The announcement at the time stated that Susan Friedman, you see that last name, head of policy, would represent the foundation as a board member to strengthen their initiative to participate in ongoing work to engage with central banks worldwide on technical and policy issues related to CBDCs. We've said XRP is the banker's coin. It is the banker's coin, but that's a good thing if you really want it to be what it's going to be, which is replace the existing financial system. You can't do that without getting the banks involved. And so, but I think most people are okay with it being the banker's coin. That's like the whole.
That's their narrative.
That's the whole use case.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, I had that one coming. All right. Thank you, Eddie Parrott. NFTs sold top 67% year over year in 22. DAP Radar saying the sales soared. A lot of that is the other deeds meant, but revenues did decline. And a lot of that is just going to come from ETH losing money there. So nothing to worry about too much. I think obviously we're going to have another NFT bull run. I think Yuga Labs is almost responsible for mini bull runs like once, twice a year. I think we're going to experience another one shortly. So just be careful. The other deeds mint, was given to people for free, but the Bored Apes don't need money. And so there's a lot of people actually spending their money to get a sewer pass. So in a weird way, even though it was a free mint, it pulled money out of the ecosystem amongst the active traders. Because I don't think a Bored Ape is like, oh yeah, I just got 5 ETH. Now let me go shop and buy some NFTs. They're probably got a little bit more money. They're probably on the sidelines right now.
I think Taco said they've already brought in 500 million in the upgrades and power ups. New money into the system.
That ape coin. Ape coin. Yeah, ape coin. It pumped for a reason. I closed my long so early. I feel so bad. Do we have any questions here?
Yeah, guys, drop some better. Somebody asked if we would ever see a clean shaven DZ. That was one of the questions.
No,
in there. No, okay,
no, never. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. I'm 38 years old and I look pretty young.
Right.
When I shave, it freaks me out.
Yeah,
I don't like.
You know what works?
It's like
for
an
you,
old
right?
man's eyeballs on a young man's face. It just doesn't fit.
What do you think about somebody? Grant Gustavson. He's asked this a few times. Do you think Steppen is a dead project, or do you think it could recover?
Remember what
bit?
I said yesterday? I warned everybody that the token unlock could be true. Sounds like it would be true.
Yeah.
I talked to Brian yesterday. He said it's true.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm going to say. Big token unlock. Now, can it ever recover? It has a couple Hail Marys, and those really have to pay off. It'd have to be like a huge Nike partnership, Adidas, Reebok, whatever. And then that would have to be followed by like $100 million legacy media ad campaign.
Yeah.
And then maybe you get that whole new wave of people. But then the way that coin is so inflationary, it's just gonna dump. But no, you can buy magic shoelaces that will give you a little hop in your step. So I'm gonna use all my stepping. No, you earn $100 walking. You're not putting $100 back in your shoe. Unless you're Brian. Most people are gonna sell, and so yeah, you're gonna see a lot of downward pressure on that.
Yeah. What I'll say when it comes to dead projects, it takes a lot for a project to be like dead, in my opinion, like completely dead. But I don't think it's going to be the best place for you to have your money long term. I'll say that.
Yeah, I don't think it's hitting all-time highs.
I'd be looking for new projects rather than holding on to your bag from the previous bull run, and that's something I learned in 2019. There's a lot of things if you do that math. Oh, when Ethereum and Bitcoin was here, Steppen was there. don't be doing that math because it's not going to work out that way.
I still have 2 shoes like an idiot. Someone said, did I dump step? And no, I'm still holding 2 shoes like a dummy. But I don't even walk with it. I haven't even checked. I probably should. But yeah, it's like, do you want to pull your phone out for 78 cents? No.
Yeah. Davenport report for you, optimism or ICP? Tough one.
I don't have the knowledge that Ben does when he's actually talked to the ICP team.
Yeah.
I think there is a branding issue, and I think Optimism has a better brand than ICP.
Mhm.
So I think people are going to feel the burn. Now there will be a narrative where ICP has a better narrative, and that's like at the tail end of the bull run where people look at previous all-time highs. That's the point you need to be getting out of the crypto market, and we're still probably 3 years away from that.
So
level,
you take
2.5
Optimism?
years.
You take Optimism?
I take Optimism.
Yeah, I do too.
Optimism.
I do too. All right, that's all we got.
I think that's all we got. It will be a great show this evening. You're not going to want to miss it. You're definitely not going to want to miss the basement.
Yep.
And I might pop up on the basement Thursday as a new character.
Hey,
brand new, maybe no hat.
Uh-oh.
So you better sign up and watch that. So that's all we got. Till next time, I'll see you at Vumio Spaces 2 p.m. folks.